March 19th, 1999, 12:15 a.m. Every dance hall in New Orleans is packed. Jazz bands play in hundreds of homes. Music pours from open windows. Families bang pots and pans. Children blow kazoos past midnight. The entire city is making noise. Because 6 days ago, the morning newspaper published a letter. A letter claiming to be written from hell, signed by a killer who had already murdered 6 people in their beds. A killer who enters homes through impossibly small openings. A killer who uses his victims' own axes. A killer who vanishes like smoke. The letter made a promise. Anyone playing jazz tonight would be spared. Anyone who wasn't would get the axe. I'm Josh, and tonight we're investigating the Axeman of New Orleans.
Welcome, stranger.
Secret to society.
Strangers. Society.
Welcome to the secret society.
Strangers?
Welcome back to the Secret Society of Strangers, the podcast where we explore history's darkest and strangest events. I'm Lee. I'm here with two classically trained musicians, Jen and Josh.
I never
What's
played
your
that.
instruments of preference, guys?
Yo, I play a mean set of spoons.
So,
And I play the fiddle.
see, we're a whole band. I could play like a upside down Home Depot bucket.
There we go.
Do either of you actually play instruments?
No, I
don't-
play
play the-
bass and drums.
Oh,
play the
really?
fiddle.
I actually don't play anything. I was dead serious before when I said an upside down Home Depot bucket.
Yo, we got this though.
I'll be busking on the street, man. Just
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Actually, that's a perfect segue because some of the best busters in America are in New Orleans.
Oh yeah.
This is our third Axe File. And if you're just joining us, all February we've been covering a different Axe murder per week for the entire month of February. So to catch anybody up, if you haven't been with us, first episode was Lizzie Borden. Second was the Villisca, Iowa family massacre. Both crimes involved murderers that used axes. Both crimes technically don't have convicted criminals. Both of those criminals tried to get away, tried to hide. This third file is completely different because this third file does the opposite. He taunts the police, he writes letters, he makes outrageous claims that he is a demon, and he makes one single demand that an entire city play jazz or die. Do you guys
That's a
think they
pretty
did
insane demand.
it? Right? An entire
Also,
city, even if
There's
you don't
worse
like me.
demands.
There are worse demands.
There are worse demands. There are. But if you're like me and you're not musically talented, that's where those kids with the kazoos came in, because that's me.
Yo, could you imagine if he was like, you have to play ska music or you'll die?
Oh,
Correctly, like on key,
no.
whole city's dead.
That's it. Kill me. Axe me up, son.
Josh, I think you're showing your age.
100%.
Those of you don't even know what ska music is these days.
Oh man, love some ska.
I know my daughter does, which is good because of me, but
that is very good.
That's because your daughter's cultured. That's
yeah,
why.
it's an isolated situation. So, Josh, you want to take us down to New Orleans?
Yeah. All right. So we're going to start in glorious May 23rd of 1918 in uptown New Orleans on the corner of Magnolia and Upper Line Streets. You know, setting that scene real nice. Paint that picture in your mind. Yes, yes, yes.
It's hot. That's all I know.
It's really hot.
It's humid and sticky. I'm not happy.
Gross.
Mm,
Don't like it.
yeah, no.
So Joseph and Catherine Maggio ran a small grocery store. They were both Italian immigrants, hardworking, and they also lived in the apartment above their shop, right? Joseph's brother, Jack, lived next door to his young sons, and around 2 a.m., Jack heard strange sounds coming through the wall. It was like groaning, movement, like muffled movement, and he just dismissed it, went back to sleep. Just like, whatever, fuck it. And the next morning, Jack's boys discovered their aunt and uncle both had been attacked while they were sleeping, and both had their throats slashed with a straight razor. That's like,
I'll do it.
ah.
That will do it.
It's just like when you say like somebody got their throat slashed, it's like one of those things that like you can like slightly feel and you just get the just cringy.
Yeah.
It's
The
just the
idea.
heebie-jeebies.
It's one of those parts of the body that is just so naturally vulnerable. Like even when people are playing around with you, right? Like say someone's like going to tickle you, like that instinct to go like that, like scrunch your neck down and tighten is like
Oh
so
yeah, just get all
distinct.
turtled up.
Yeah, we're all so good at that because don't touch our necks. There's so much in there that can
I
just
bet you it's like a primal like response.
Oh,
Where it's
yeah,
like, oh yeah,
100%.
protect your
Yeah.
vitals.
yeah, it's like how little boys instantly just know how to cover their privates. Like it's just a natural. They curl up and go there.
True.
That's what happens. Gotta protect the valuables.
Protect your neck.
Wu-Tang is for the children.
There we go. So Catherine's wound nearly severed her head. So like this was just deep.
Yeah.
Ugh. And both have been struck with an axe multiple times. So not only did they get their throat slashed, they just got chopped up. The killer had changed his clothes. The police found this bloody pile of garments like in their bathroom. So he's just like, oh, I'm just gonna do a little killing and then just change clothes like nothing's happening and then just leave the evidence here. He washed himself off in the sink and there was just blood in the sink basin. So he's just leaving evidence all over the place.
Mhm.
And then he left the same way he came in. The back door had a panel chiseled out, and the opening measured roughly 12 by 18 inches. When the detectives examined it, they couldn't figure out how a grown man fit through, because like it just made no sense. Unless you were like itty bitty bitty tiny person.
It's a small hole. It's essentially like the panel in like a 4-panel door.
Yeah.
Like you cut that out because those are separate pieces in the door. So if you can get that out, you can get through it and theoretically. But for a grown man to get
What
through
if
that,
he just like popped his
That
joints out of
is.
socket and just like slithered through?
yeah, I mean, you really have to think about how you would position yourself to get through a hole like that. They would.
So I
Good
wonder how
question.
their door's locked. Because I would have just assumed that they just
It-
used it to reach in
Yeah,
and
right.
unlock the
Right there.
door. So I'm
Yeah.
just curious what kind of. I mean, couldn't have been too
Maybe it was just a
elaborate.
Here Jin is with the rational thing, and I'm like, this dude's just popping joints and slithering
Oh,
in. Call
well,
this
I
fool
mean-
Draco Malfoy.
Too much true crime. Yeah.
So wait, before we even we're in theories already. So you think potentially he like popped out these things, opened the door, then went in, closed the door, and like all the police were just like, "Oh my god, he must be a Slender Man."
No, I was just like, I had always assumed. I had never really dove that much into this part of it, like how big it was. I just knew, like, he would like chisel a panel out. Well, I just assumed it was to reach in and unlock the
Makes
slide
sense.
bolt or whatever, 1918 lock mechanism they had going on.
I think
But that was,
Jen
that
may
was
have-
just me.
Just
Jin might have
solved
cracked
the
it.
Axeman.
That was just me.
So,
MO. Hey, mark it off.
I feel
marking
like
up.
they could have figured that out.
Speaking
so
of
I could be
marking
wrong.
off,
Mm,
near the scene, somebody had scrawled in chalk, Mrs. Maggio will sit up tonight like Mrs. Tawney. Miss Tawney was murdered in 1911, and her case was never solved.
Oh, yeah, it's not good.
The plot thickens already.
There are a lot of unsolved murders.
Yeah.
Axe
In the
murders.
early 1900s, there seems to be a theme that it's just like, oh, we tried.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Someone else
nobody
murdered.
confessed, so there we were
But
stuck.
what if it was just like wandering axe murderers, though?
Well, that's one of the theories.
That's
I feel like when
a
we
big
wrap all this
theory.
up, we're going to be able to
Yeah.
talk about the fact that
Nomadic
there
axe
is a
murders.
potential, excluding Lizzie and our next one. I have a bonus episode that these three may all be potentially the same person.
Mhm.
and
Using
would be so
railway.
wild.
Yeah.
Using the trains
You know,
Mm,
to travel.
no one decided to investigate for very long. So
no.
One way to get away with it.
Right. All right. So the Maggios weren't random victims at all, and the killer had targeted Italian grocers almost exclusively. So it's like this person just had a huge hatred for Italian immigrant grocers.
yeah. Which okay, so I guess this is the perfect part because side note, when we were going over this case, that struck me as like unusual because I didn't think that there was a large population of Italian immigrants in New Orleans at the time.
No, not at all. It was not on my
Right.
bingo card.
I did my research and we were wrong because apparently it was actually a bigger hub of immigration for Italian Americans than even New York and New Jersey at the time.
That's
Whoa.
crazy.
And
Huh.
they essentially what these immigrants did is they followed the banana trade. So bananas that were grown in Sicily were shipped to New Orleans, and these immigrants came and basically just followed the bananas. They set up those grocery shops Josh was talking about. They lived above them and they worked underneath. And by 1910, the French Quarter was called Little Palmero. And it actually is mythed. I don't want to put this in full context. This is not true or validated, but it's myth that some of the initial mafia myths of America start in New Orleans.
I did not know that.
Yep. So there's a case we'll definitely go over now that I know about it. In 1890, a police chief was murdered. 19 Italian immigrants were arrested. 6 were acquitted, 3 mistrials, and the next day a mob stormed the prison and lynched 11 of them,
God dang.
basically kicking off the fact that there was this roving mafia of Italians seeking revenge.
Dang.
Now that we are all educated about that I had no clue about,
No.
let's
not at
continue
all.
on the
Yeah.
extended axe murders of said Italian immigrants.
So the Axeman, he attacked at night while families slept because he's just a big old chicken. He used their own axes, kind of smart. You don't want to carry around a murder weapon that's kind of heavy. And the weapons found in every home for like chopping firewood. So
Yeah.
it's easy to find an axe or a hatchet in somebody's
Yeah.
house all the
In
time.
this day and age, too, if you go into a suburban home, there's no way that a family probably doesn't have at least a hatchet, like a hand, like
Oh, yeah.
several.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Mhm.
Here's the thing, though. He
Not
never
my
took-
house.
Not your
Or at
house? You
least-
don't got no hatchets?
Or at least, I mean, we did have one. It's been missing for years. So if you can
Mm.
find it and hack me
Mm.
with it, kudos to
Mm.
you. Because
Ooh. So what if it was somebody that was like long con? It was like, I know where that axe is.
It was used in a crime.
Ooh. So he never took any money, which was interesting. So he didn't like rob the people. And even like the cash registers were left open, no money was taken. So he just straight up like just loved the killing aspect of it. He chiseled the door panels from the outside. It was always the back door and always creating an opening that seemed too small for entry. So does he just wiggle his way in there, or is he just opening the locks? I don't know. He always left the murder weapon at the scene. Like, doesn't
You
make
always
any
just
sense.
wonder about like, so obviously this is a like we're talking about a pattern, and it's
Mhm.
learned and it probably evolved over time. But do you think there's like a premeditation stage where he like is scoping out yards for outside access?
probably.
yes,
Yeah.
That's-
I do. I don't know how much plan, but I think that he.
No, but
he
like,
gets an
they have a
idea.
shed.
Yeah.
That's open, and I could probably grab the axe, pop out the door panel, get in the back door, because no one
Yeah.
can see it.
I think he definitely.
I think
To get away with it
scary
for that
as fuck.
long, I mean, definitely think you've had to have done something,
Well,
somewhat.
yeah.
At least one night, even of just saying, like, when does everybody go to bed? Or,
True.
Also, can
How
we talk
many-
about the fact of how lucky this guy is that there's not modern forensics at this time?
Oh,
And he's
yeah.
just leaving so much
DNA
evidence
everywhere.
everywhere.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Fingerprint. Yeah.
like, back then, like they had like fingerprint, and they could have probably worked it up a little bit. The problem is, I guess, the opposite side of that is that they have the technology, but they don't have a database.
Right.
If you get fingerprints, congratulations. There's a billion people on the
Yeah.
planet.
You're just looking
Like,
through
pick
some
one.
dusty
You
ass
just have
book.
to.
Yeah,
They have to catch somebody in order to try and match them.
Yeah.
that's why like CODIS now is so insane.
Yeah. When you think about it, yeah.
Just their genome.
So within weeks, the attacks just kept continuing, right? So June 27th, 1918, Louis Besummer and his mistress, Harriet Lowe, were attacked in the 7th Ward. Besummer survived. Lowe died weeks later from surgical complications. That fucking sucks.
Yeah.
I survived an axe murder, but died because of a shitty doctor.
Yeah, infection probably.
Yeah, or like a missed like aneurysm, like a missed like
Mhm.
bleed
Yeah.
or something somewhere. Because like head
Yeah.
trauma, you get hit with an axe, you may not die right away.
That's
Right.
true.
Your brain slowly swells. And,
Mm-hmm. And it gets messy too. So while delirious on her deathbed, Lowe accused Besummer of attacking her pretty much. The police arrested him, charged him with murder, and he spent 9 months in prison before a jury acquitted him in 10 minutes.
He's
I'm assuming
lucky.
because of his injuries.
Yeah.
He's lucky though still, because I could see just the jury at that time just wanting somebody to be like
yeah.
just overdone, and
Mhm.
but you know, bless her, I'm sure she was obviously gets woken up being hacked to death,
Mhm.
and she just makes an assumption, sees him, who knows, you know, the first thing
Right.
she comes to and
Wow.
doesn't realize. Yeah.
And the evidence pretty much clearly showed that it was the Axeman's entry method, that popping out of the panel and everything, and there was just no forced entry, and the jury saw it. So they were just like, yeah, it's the Axeman.
So it's actually really sad that the police actually arrested him. Another blemish on their record.
Yeah, no shit, right?
It's really getting the biggest thing. The longer we do this podcast, the worse police have of a record of
Yo, it is
any
not like
kind of
TV
Critical
detectives. Yeah, no.
any quality of chain of custody in any
Yeah.
situation or securing of crime scenes or evidence. Where
Oh,
we're
yeah.
still learning. It's a
Yeah.
learning curve.
Some of that should have been obvious, I feel, even in 19 whatever, but
But
There
yeah,
we
here
are.
we are.
let's invite the whole town.
Like people have been getting murdered forever. Like we should have figured out. Like, oh, we don't touch anything. Maybe we can figure out what happened.
No. I want to touch everything.
Yeah, come touch his skull.
Yeah. On August 10th, Joseph Romano, he was a barber, was attacked while his nieces slept in the next room. Bruno's sisters woke up to the sound of a struggle. They saw a dark figure fleeing the scene, and they gave the police the only eyewitness description. He was a dark-skinned, heavy-set man in a dark suit and slouched hat.
Wait, say that again.
Dark-skinned, heavy-set man in a dark suit with a slouched hat.
They show a shadow.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, great. Thanks for all that advice, buddy.
Right, but here's the interesting thing. Romano walked to the ambulance himself, but then he died 2 days later from skull fractures.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
Not fun.
And amazing he didn't go after the nieces.
Right?
Curious about,
Yeah.
I'm glad.
maybe he
Yeah.
didn't know they were there.
Yeah, probably not.
Maybe not.
They probably just like caught a glimpse of him as he was just like booking it. But pretty much after Romano's death, New Orleans just straight up descended into like mad hysteria, right? Armed citizens formed neighborhood patrols, men slept with weapons
Smart.
within reach, police were flooded with reports, suspicious figures, strange noises, supposed Axeman sightings. It was just full on chaos, right? And this is what the guy probably wanted.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely an agent of chaos for sure.
Yeah.
And very theatrical.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm. Multiple families found axes mysteriously placed in their backyards overnight.
Mhm.
Genuine terror or copycat pranks, just like shit ass little kids just fucking off. Nobody knew. So everybody was still terrified anyway.
Yeah, that's no good, no matter what. Because even if it's like a joke, you're still like, I'm not touching that axe.
Yeah,
No,
no. Don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
Yeah, and then I'm not sleeping in that bed. I'm like a stuffed straw man in the bed
Yeah.
and sleeping downstairs in the grocery store because you're not gonna get me like that.
Yeah. So the local paper published like daily updates and then nothing. The attack stopped completely for like 7 months. So like right when he was like up at the
Ramping
height of
up.
all the hysteria, he just like gave up or went silent.
Yeah, which is either really smart or maybe he was hopped a train and was murdering someone somewhere else.
No, you're right.
It is coincidental though that his hiatus was perfectly with the peak of the Spanish flu pandemic, and that was between September 1918 and March of 1919, and pretty much 3,400 New Orleans people died from influenza.
Ooh.
Jeez.
So was he sick? Did he die? Was he laying low during, the lockdown quarantine things? I don't know. Do
Imagine he's
you
like a
guys know?
germaphobe.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I was thinking. He's like, "I'm not getting sick."
But check it
All
out
that
though.
blood
The
splashing on
s-
me.
the second that it ended in March 1919, he popped back up.
Mm.
Which I also feel like really, really lends itself to like he got out of Dodge for a while and then was
Yeah.
like, oh, this city's good again. Let's
Mhm.
continue
Mhm.
torturing the whole entire city.
Yeah, and I think we need a little bit more of like a historical context for about these times. So, Jin, you got some insight for me?
Sure. So essentially, back in New Orleans in 1918 is a city that is under siege, but not just from the Axeman. Like we said, the Spanish flu pandemic is going on, and we now have a way of somewhat understanding things since we did the whole COVID thing. That
You slept
before
through
that,
it. Yay.
we would
Right.
read about that stuff, and you really couldn't put yourself too much there. And obviously, at least we had some benefits that they did not have during some of these other prior epidemics and pandemics and whatever. But now we can actually at least get a little bit of the panic of not knowing of
Right.
treatments, things that they have known in the past to work for things are not helping at this point. So like Josh said, over 3,400 people died in from this flu in just 6 months. So
It's a lot of people.
that's a lot of people in a 6-month time span.
Well, think
Uh,
about like how affected we were by the numbers we lost during COVID, the
mhm,
essential workers, the
Mhm.
fact that
yep,
like whole industries were hit so hard that like we didn't know if they were going to come back. Like
yeah,
this
and
Yeah.
is the
some
same
did.
situation in like
Mhm.
whole villages. Probably you're like, hey man, the sixth ward may just not even be a thing after this is over. There may not even be anybody to populate it.
Right.
Exactly. So they experienced entire neighborhoods when there was an outbreak that would be quarantined, schools are closed down, theaters are shut down, no public gatherings, so that
You ain't
social
doing nothing.
circle, all of that tightens, and we know how stir crazy we could get, and we had TVs and phones and, stuff to occupy if you are just stuck in your house with other sick relatives maybe, or just, in your neighborhood, just
Mhm.
all you've got is your mind to sort of, think about. So police are wearing gauze masks on their patrols, hospitals are overwhelmed, and mortuaries are running out of caskets.
Real quick, also, if you think about like there is the fact that even in our time, we know we went through the scapegoating and the looking for the cause, and
Mhm.
it was this person,
Mhm.
it's that group, it was this is the reason, it was a conspiracy. That's going on down there, and with an influx of immigrants, scapegoated pretty
Mhm.
quickly, I'm sure.
Right. And unfortunately, like you said, we do see history repeat itself over and over throughout when things go wrong, looking for someone to blame. So, unfortunately, that, brings another thing. Why were the Italian grocers the ones targeted, or Italian immigrants? And so, like we talked about on the top, they had that significant Italian immigrant population and centered in neighborhoods like the French Quarter and Uptown. But they were, hardworking, tight knit family businesses. They still faced intense prejudice. The anti Italian sentiment was still going very strong after the 1891 New Orleans lynching that Lee talked about when the 11 immigrants were dragged from jail and killed. And that was the largest mass lynching in American history.
Ooh.
God dang.
See,
With
and I didn't get that even when I did my research. That's wild.
Mm-mm.
so they were viewed, these Italian immigrants, they're viewed with suspicion, to say the least. They're stereotyped as criminals associated with organized crime and the just extortion rackets. So
Mhm.
uh, we all know how this goes. You've got a few bad apples in every group, and then people are just able to, in their minds, make a whole case that they're all involved in this. They're all bad. I don't care how great he is to me, lending me
Mhm.
credit at the grocery store, whatever. Doesn't matter. When
Nope.
things go south, we look for somebody to blame, and unfortunately, this becomes a reality for these Italians. And even the newspapers, are suggesting that they're involved in criminal activity.
Good old
Um,
media. Thanks again.
Mhm.
yeah, always
Right.
helpful.
Yep.
That the attacks were a quote Black Hand retaliation, which was part of the extortion
Mm.
racket scheme, and that they had basically brought this on themselves. The Italians had brought all of this
Of course.
on
It's
themselves.
always the
Yeah.
victim's fault.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
so, unfortunately, that also, we've talked about the lackluster response or investigative tactics from the police, but this comes into play for their investigation as well. Their ethnic prejudice was certainly showing, and it shaped how the case was investigated, and ultimately how potentially, justice was miscarried, because if they're not really trying or looking at a broad scope, then they're only saying, well, it must be an Italian immigrant or whatever, then obviously you're not doing your due diligence as an investigator. So we also can't talk about New Orleans without talking about jazz
Yeah, it's like a
and
huge thing for
their
him.
culture. I feel, yeah. I think everyone knows that, whether you've been fortunate enough to visit or not. So the jazz demand in the Axeman's letter isn't just a random request because he just loves, loves that. That is New Orleans' cultural export to the world, along with amazing food. But it was born in the city's Black communities. It had spread to dance halls, brothels, cabarets. It's loud, rebellious, and improvisational. You know, everything that a traditional society, when you think about, is feared. This was every new generation or whatever, they have their
Mhm.
this is going to be the undoing of society, and then they continue that on with the dance and music into the 20s. We know some of the jitterbug and all these things were just scandalous,
I
It's
wish.
the scandal.
I
but you
wish
got to
that
remember
That is
showing
like their version of Motley Crue and like all that crazy music.
yes. And so that's what we all have, that every time, we're going to see that. But you got to remember, they're just coming off of showing your ankles was titillating,
Oh
to
yeah,
say
you
the
can't be
least.
out there showing them ankles. Y'all are a bunch of hooers.
This is, so jazz is obviously totally different. The way it's sensual music a lot of times. So, it's not what they're used to. So respectable society would see jazz music as immoral, associated with vice and crime, a threat to the social order, and basic racial, that you would think of, racist thoughts about the music itself.
Yeah.
So the Axeman's letter, however, his demand forces the entire city, though, to embrace jazz music.
Even if you liked it or not.
And so March 19th, 1919, wealthy white families are playing jazz in their homes. People who had never set foot in a jazz club before are just beating the door down to be able to get in order to survive. So it sort of has a big part in breaking that cultural barrier overnight out of this fear.
It's just like a Banksy murderous style trying to push like a,
I was gonna say, like, what if this was
agenda.
an insane PR campaign to
Oh
get
my-
jazz mainstream?
I mean, it worked because, inadvertently, assuming the Axeman legitimizes, jazz as New Orleans culture, not just Black culture or criminal culture, but one that actually music that brings a lot of people together. So that's the silver lining, I guess.
The good thing. The
The
good,
good thing about
The
it.
only good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the history.
It's a
That's
wild
that-
place right now.
Yo, for
like-
real. Unhinged.
What
Yeah.
what like Josh was explaining about the Italian immigrants, what Jen's explaining about like the jazz culture and the African American influence, like they're like these insular groups, which now again from the outside, everyone's just making up what's going on in that jazz hall. It's got to be scandalous.
Yes.
What's going on?
Mhm.
Why do all these Italians live on top of their stores? What are they hiding in there? Why they all have safes in the back? Like you're just gonna ask stupid questions because a
Mhm.
town's gonna gossip and
Mm.
Yeah.
between-
Anything that's not part of their norm, becomes suspicious.
Oh yeah.
And then enter Axeman. It's like, I'm just gonna stir this pot of gumbo real quick.
Just out here
With an axe.
snapping necks and not even cashing checks.
No, he's not actually doing it for the money,
Yeah.
No, he's just out here for the love of the game of it.
which is an extremely New Orleans like MO.
Mhm.
Like it's all about the good time, not about the money.
Yeah. So now that we've kind of like set the scene and talked a little bit about why everybody has a jazz band playing this night, let's get into this letter that the Axeman sent to the local newspaper and why he made everybody essentially get a jazz band for the whole night. So this is right after the Spanish flu, so he just picks his axe right back up, or his neighbor's axe. Sorry, he never used his axe. So it was March 16th, 1919, and the local paper published a letter that would make criminal history, right? It was dated hell March 13, 1999, and signed the Axeman. Let me read you the
God,
key
man.
passage.
These drama queens.
Yeah.
100%. Yo, he is so
Yeah.
theatrical.
Mm-hmm.
What if he's got like a half Phantom of the Opera mask on too, just being so extra with it?
He writes in a dipped
Yeah.
pill. Oh,
Poorly lit sewer or something. Anyway, here's what he says in his letter. They have never caught me, and they never will. They have never seen me, for I am invisible. Even as the ether that surrounds your earth, I am not a human being, but a spirit and a fell demon from the hottest hell. I am what you New Orleanians and your foolish police call the Axeman. When I see fit, I shall come again and claim other victims. I alone know whom they shall be. I shall leave no clue except my bloody axe, besmeared with the blood and brains of whom I have sent below to keep me company. If you wish to learn who I am, do not search for me. You will never find me, but if you should ever discover a trace of me, tell the police to beware, for I shall visit this city often and make myself known.
So many thoughts.
so many times. Key word there is also visit. I just want to point that out.
That is a good point.
Yep,
Yeah.
he's just
Yeah.
visiting the city.
And like that
And-
whole "will come back when you get a hint of me" nonsense.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, he's spot on with the foolish police remark. I'll give him that.
But again, the level of like theatrics and drama he's putting into.
Mhm.
Yo, he's got to be like a very well-educated person.
I mean, at least street smart in the sense that he understands like policing methods.
Mhm.
He's got the MO down, the back door, the panel, their axe, the
Mhm.
same we didn't really point it out. I kind of said it, but didn't know if I pointed out particularly. All these places, the like grocery shops that he's robbing have the same layout.
Yeah.
Store up front in the bottom, safe and like office in the back, and the family's upstairs.
Right.
So like, there's not even like a question of what he's walking into most of the time. He knows
Mm.
exactly what's behind every one of those doors he goes in.
Yeah. The letter pretty much went on to like keep mocking the police in New Orleans, called them utterly stupid, and boasted that he could slay thousands if he wished. So, he's just got that classic going on this villain monologue spiel about right
Yeah.
now. And then he gave the city of New Orleans its ultimatum. At exactly 12:15 a.m. on Tuesday, March 19th, 1919, the Axeman would pass over New Orleans, like just some biblical fucking
Yeah.
thing.
Yep.
And his terms were pretty much clear. Any home with a jazz band in full swing would be spared. And those who didn't jazz it would face his axe. So it's straight up like, if you don't have the blood of the lamb over your door, I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
He's doing
So
these things
theatrical.
on purpose. Like this
Yeah.
is clearly very, very well thought out. And like the idea that he had to sit there and think like, I can get everyone to do something. Maybe he didn't first think it was jazz, but I can get an entire city to do something and then pick my victims by the ones that don't follow.
Right.
Some
Mhm.
crazy Simon Says fucking
Oh yeah.
shit. That's weird. That's crazy to think.
But he
like that.
also doesn't say anything in his letter that would make you or force you to believe that it's actually the Axeman writing it
True.
either.
True, it could be anybody. Yeah.
Well, I
mean-
mean, in the beginning, he straight up says like, "I am who you foolish police and New Orleanians call the Axeman." So like, he is saying he is the
Yeah,
Axeman.
that's the closest you
Yeah.
get. But that can't be verified through a letter. That could be anyone copycat or anything at this point.
Yeah, anybody writing it.
Yeah. But
So
on the assumption that it is him writing the letter, there are those like little details
Naysayers.
that kind of
Yeah.
like, if I was going to sit here and like pour over this letter, that whole fact that like visiting is a thing,
mhm.
it and like insulting New Orleanians, like kind of like asserting that maybe that he's not one of them.
Yeah,
Right.
like he's not from there or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's little clues, but nothing to like say, hey, it's this guy.
Mm-mm. What's interesting though was his timing was pretty deliberate. Like he had to have planned this timing because March 19th was St. Joseph's Day, and that's like a pretty big like sacred feast day for Italian Catholics. And those were people he was going after and targeting.
Mm.
Yeah, the level of planning and detail is one very interesting because it's not general. Like I don't know how much that's general knowledge that
Mm-mm.
like if you're not celebrating something like that, you would know.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. Or if
And-
you weren't an Italian immigrant yourself.
That's what I mean. Yeah, like
Right.
who knows? Like that knowledge of like planning it on that day. Again, the planning of like a whole city doing something and
Mhm.
picking the
Mhm.
ones that aren't. Pretty wild.
So the response of New Orleans was just unprecedented. So that night, 18th and 19th of March, every dance hall in the city was filled to the brim. Professional bands played at hundreds of house parties. Amateur musicians were performing anywhere they could. Even the families without instruments banged on like pots and pans, like we said in the opening. These children also stayed up past midnight just making noise on anything they could so they could be spared the Axeman.
Imagine how
music-
scared you must have been as a kid.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like this dude literally has the city gripped in fear.
And he's coming into your house, which I mean is a violation as an adult, no matter what. But as a
Oh,
kid,
100%.
your like safest of safe places should be, and now like the actual boogeyman is coming into people's homes.
Oh, yeah, that's terrifying. Speaking of that, so there was this jazz composer, Joseph Davila. He basically rushed to complete his song called The Mysterious Axeman's Jazz, Don't Scare Me, Papa. And later he printed like 10,000 copies of it and then sold for 10 cents each. And he later went on to admit that he finished the song at about 2 a.m. Wednesday after he was sure the Axeman had no designs on him personally. So that makes,
Okay.
yeah, good on you, dude.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
Light a fire, I guess, man. But nobody was murdered the night the jazz was playing, so which was super good. And the newspaper, the West Bank Herald, condemned the other paper, the Times-Picayune. They called the letter an obvious hoax that caused uneasiness and worry amongst the ignorant classes. So basically
Here we
just
go again.
calling him out. But the city had responded with this mass ritual, essentially. Jazz was its protection, the music was a ward against the evil of the Axeman, and it straight up worked. Or he just didn't decide to strike at all that night and just wanted to listen to some jazz like everywhere he went, which would be like megalomaniacal wild stuff.
I'm gonna just stay on this theory that he's not from there. I'm thinking he called this letter into the newspaper and he wasn't even there.
Oh, you don't think so?
I think that's like a total like a manipulation thing. Like, I'm gonna do this thing. Basically, in his letter, he did say, like, if you hear of me, I will strike soon.
So he's probably out of town.
He's out of town doing his other murder thing, or whatever axe murderers do out of town, and then gets the newspaper to publish his letter or writes to the police or whatever he does, and then like gets to sit back and like read the news on the train for like a day or two while he's hearing about, oh, the town's going fucking crazy. Can't wait to get there.
Or, I mean, he could be there,
He could.
and this is his control tactic to see, like,
Yeah.
okay, now I told them to do this, they did it, and I didn't strike. So now, I mean, it's not real trust, but it's, sort of like if you get kidnapped and they're like, I'm not going to hurt you, I'm not going to hurt you, and try to take you to a second location. No,
Never
You
go
know.
to a second location.
Just
I
like
mean,
luring them into
but
that.
it's
to
right,
security
that
of,
false
like, oh,
sense of, mhm.
we appeased the god. And
I mean,
And
yeah. So I mean,
everything's
that's just
fine.
another alternate
yeah, absolutely.
possibility.
So what's interesting is he went quiet for 3 days after Jazz Night. So 3 days pass after Jazz Night, and the Axeman struck again. So yeah, that leads to believe that he might not have even been in town. It was March 10th
Possible.
in Gretna, Louisiana, so literally just across the river from New Orleans. And this guy, Orlando Yardino, which is a great name, ran a grocery store, his demographic, and his 18-year-old son, Frank, worked with him also. They lived next door to another Italian grocer family, Charles and Rose Cortamiglia, and their 2-year-old daughter, Mary. That night, someone chiseled through the Cortamiglia's back door, entered the home, attacked the entire family while they slept. Straight up Axeman MO. Charles survived with severe head wounds. Rosie survived with a fractured skull. Mary, unfortunately, did not, and she died in her mother's arms. I couldn't even imagine
Mm-mm.
the amount of
No.
loss she was feeling.
Absolute horror to
I'd
just go
come
through
unhinged.
that. Mm-mm.
So when Rosie regained consciousness in the hospital, she made a shocking accusation, right? She claimed that the Yardinos, their neighbors, had straight up attacked them. The father and son both. So Orlando was a 69-year-old man, Frank was 18, neither had any criminal records at all, and both had super airtight solid alibis. But the evidence showed the Axeman's signature. Chiseled door panel, no theft, victim's own axe used as a weapon, right? But this Rosie lady was just so insistent, even to the point where she got hysterical and grief-stricken by it. She still identified the Yardinos.
I don't trust eyewitness accounts anymore.
No.
That and massive head injuries, brain, which we know
Mhm.
now even much more than they would have been. And now I'm curious if there was some bad blood also between
Probably.
the families.
Possibly. What were the alibis? Do you know that off the top of your head?
No, it doesn't say.
Okay. I was just curious what their alibis were. Like, they were with each other?
Right? They were just hanging out playing
Yeah.
bridge. So both of the Yardino men were arrested, they were tried, and they were convicted of this. Frank Yardino, the 18-year-old, was sentenced to hang, while his father got life in prison. They both spent a year behind bars, and it wasn't really until December 1920 when Rosie had a complete mental breakdown that she finally admitted the truth, right? She had lied. Because there was probably bad blood.
Something. Yeah.
And so that straight up proves that the Yardinos were innocent.
And then
Like,
he got out.
everybody
And
should
you
have
were
known.
going next.
That's what I would have done. So by
Wow.
then, Charles Cortamiglia had straight up left Rosie, right? Her child was dead. She had destroyed 2 innocent men's lives. And he was just like, no, I can't be part of this. Like, I'm out.
Wow.
So the boys were released, but they lost a year of their lives.
Yeah.
And you know there's still gonna be those people that are gonna think that they got away with murder no matter what anybody says or
Oh yeah,
however
your
many times.
reputation's not gonna be the same
Yeah.
when you come out. And it's like, nah, dude, like I
Yeah.
didn't do anything. Then why'd you go to
Right.
jail?
Yep.
Exactly.
So basically, after the Cortamiglia murders, the attacks continued sporadically through 1919. We got one in August 10th. It was Sarah Lumen, and she was attacked while she was sleeping. She survived and described her attacker as a white man of average build. So vastly different to the other description that we heard earlier.
Mhm.
September 3rd, 19-year-old Sarah Lumen, different person, same name, though. So coincidental? Or
Wow.
are you trying to make up for the murder that you let live?
Yeah, it's like a message. Like if I didn't get that one, I'll get this one.
But check it
Right.
out. She also survived.
I was gonna point that out too.
It's starting to get more survivable.
But it's starting to seem like there may be a rush element
Uh-huh.
Ah,
in these things.
yeah.
Where it's like whack, 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 gotta go.
Mhm.
Like it can't even stay to see. Maybe it has something to do with maybe he thought after that first one when he slit the neck, maybe
Mhm.
it got too personal. He didn't like it, or like maybe there was just something he thought like, oh, I'm getting too close. They're gonna figure it out if I keep doing this thing. Let
So
me
we're
just
just gonna
beat him and get
change
out of
it.
here. Yeah.
Right.
I'm gonna
But
pivot.
it is interesting that there's so many that are survived, which kind of again means like maybe it's a testament to his size.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he's not a big hulking person that can really, really swing an axe,
Yeah.
or he's in, like I said, maybe there's a rush factor. I don't know.
No, it's 3
Or
raccoons
just
in a trench coat.
Always guilty.
or something happened to him. Is he weaker now for
Right?
some reason,
Yeah.
health-wise, physically, something?
Is it old man Yardino getting revenge
Ooh.
on everybody now?
Ooh, crazy speculation. He's some kind of amputee, right? So like that will help him fit through the doors.
I mean, maybe.
But
Yeah, man,
maybe he
anything's
doesn't have the
possible.
leverage to really swing the axe.
Yo, what if it was a tiny person, like a
Ah.
dwarf?
I mean, who knows? I
Could be
guess the only
anybody.
thing that says is the eyewitnesses or the people that survived said like average size or that shadow person that they saw.
Right.
Right. And then the final attack happened on October 27th, and the victim was Mr. Mike Pepitone. He was a grocer, killed in his bedroom while his wife and 6 children slept in the next room. His wife heard sounds. She rushed in, saw a man fleeing through the door, and she described him as tall and wearing dark clothing. So 3
different
raccoons in a trench coat.
Yeah, this is a shapeshifter.
Yeah. Mike Pepitone, this one died from axe wounds to the head, so he did not survive. And then the Axeman just poof, just vanished into smoke. No more attacks, no letters, no arrests. Case went cold. Colder than North Dakota in a January day.
What year was that last one?
October
Ooh.
27th, 1919.
Yeah.
I think I do some outside research when we bring these all together, but I think that kind of does line up when some of the other murders start in other places.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
While you were talking though, Josh, I did a little bit of Googling just to support my theory on maybe that he's traveling while that letter is being published.
Yeah.
If I typed in 2 destinations because you'll see. So I typed in Iowa and I typed in Kansas just to see how long it would take from each of those places in the 1900s to, I said the 1900s like I'm not from it, to see how long it would take by train to travel there, right? So from Kansas, you're looking at 48 hours.
Okay.
And Iowa, depending on the track, it says either a day or 2 days. So
Okay.
with a stopover to murder someone before you enter the city,
Mhm.
we're kind of playing with that. Maybe he was traveling in from one of these other murders that happened.
I can see
Absolutely.
that. I mean, it lines up.
I know
It
it's
does.
and it would really be wild if that's what is actually going on in the early 1900s. That there is like a roving
And he
act.
works for the railroad.
That would be
I
insane.
mean,
Crazier. I think we got a movie in that one.
There
it
we
would
go.
explain, the traveling around
Yeah,
throughout.
like the easy and the knowledge of the tracks and the
Yeah.
schedules. Yeah. Ooh, and then like I don't know what the word is, but like I guess you would not suspect or you wouldn't look suspiciously at a conductor at a train station all the time.
No.
No.
Like if it was just a regular person, you're like, why is this guy like every 4 days he's on the train? You'd be like, that's
No, he's
weird.
just the
Like,
tickets please guy.
Exactly.
exactly. Yeah. Whatever. But that's a good theory too. That he like works for the railroad.
Ooh. We might be onto it.
I don't know. This whole thing is wild though. Like again, the MO of sneaking in like the way he does and the consistency of using an outside weapon and like never bringing your own weapon.
Mm-mm.
But that as a person that's never murdered anybody, I would be concerned that the house I was going to break into didn't have my weapon of choice. So
Right.
again, you have to do like that plotting out beforehand. That like
Yeah.
axe check, door with panels that I could break through check, Italian grocer with the family upstairs check. I don't know.
It's a lot of prepping.
It's a lot of prepping, and the forensics, the modern forensics say it's almost impossible for even him to fit through the door. So you figure it out.
Telling me, popped his joints out of socket and just inside.
And he made that sound as he did it.
Oh, that's what I would do.
And that's how you got caught.
No, you would get so terrified if you heard that in the middle of the night and it woke you up. You wouldn't get out of yeah.
I'd be befuzzled. I'd be
And then you'd have an axe in your face. And then you'd be dead.
True.
Again, like all this stuff was refreshed as we went over this for this case. And I think when I listened to it, like the first time I ever heard this story, I was really just more focused on like the letter and the fact that it was New Orleans and like, but when you look at it as like there's impossibilities here and the potential of like a really smart killer that is traveling around the country just steps this whole story up.
Oh yeah.
More than any of the ones we've done so far as the Axe Files goes. But I don't. So let me ask. I don't remember. Maybe Josh, from your research, he changed clothes at every murder. They think every scene he changed his clothes.
Yeah, or like after the first one, he would either start wearing like a rubber apron or some sort of like oil shirt.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that way, like the blood wouldn't get on him and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, because like after that first one where he changed clothes in the bathroom, there was never clothing found again.
Yeah. I guess you have that, and I don't know how realistic this is, but like we were saying, like if there's a rush factor, like he's not necessarily like standing and like maybe he's like a whack whack go, like and like he's not fully covered the way we would imagine, someone standing over someone murdering someone with an axe would be. But again, you're changing your clothes, you're leaving evidence, and you're taunting the police. Like you're not hiding.
No.
At all.
No, he had total confidence that there's no way that they would of someone that was not on their radar, had not been interviewed, probably had, brought into questioning, nothing.
Yeah, it really. And I think about BTK when I think about this. Again, that sense of like cat and mouse and like the playing with the police and the public and just that superiority of like, I can do this and you're not going to find me.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
And wait, did Jack the Ripper wrote a letter, right?
Right? There was a letter. Yep.
Yeah.
And stop writing letters if you're a killer.
The Zodiac wrote.
Yo, he was the best at it though.
I know.
Yeah.
That shit is wild. We'll do that one day because
Hmm.
Yeah.
that is an insane.
Didn't the Black Dahlia murder write a letter too?
Oh, I don't
Mm,
even know about that. See, the Black
I don't
Dahlia is
remember.
one of those little ones that kind of has slipped under my radar for a long
Hmm.
time. Like, I
Oh,
know
it's
the general
fascinating.
story, but I've never decided to,
Looked
like, go
into it.
into it because it is, like, such a high profile thing
Hmm.
Mhm.
that I feel like one day
Yeah.
it's gonna happen no matter what. Like, I don't have to seek it out.
True that.
I don't know about this one as far as suspects. I have no guess,
Mm-mm.
except that I think personally that this person was traveling and wasn't a local.
Yeah, I think I'm going to jump on that train wagon too.
I mean, it really, and even today, that's still your absolute best bet is to have no connection to your victim, someone that is able to travel
Mhm.
across state lines without raising any suspicion. Like, obviously, if I
Could
started
work.
just like, going different, yeah, that's weird. That's not part of my job or whatever.
Mhm.
But it's, for somebody that, yeah, I mean, not picking on the truck drivers, but, that does that or is, does
Mhm.
train or long distance traveling routinely, to different cities, even if, today's standards you're flying in, whatever, it's going to be a lot easier for you to get away with multiple, murders
Oh,
that way.
100%.
It's funny when you said, like, today's technology advanced by flying, like, you'd be flying around. He really was using all the tools at his
Mhm.
disposal
Yeah.
at the time. Like, if he was
Hmm.
traveling on a train, that's the fastest way to get around
Yeah.
at the time,
Yeah.
and he's using the newspaper and, like, telegraph to, like,
Yep.
control the media. The media, like, really? Like, he's, like, number
Hmm.
1 media controller, serial killer guy?
Yeah. And it all worked out for him.
Yeah.
Because we're
Still
still
have
talking about him years
no
later.
clue, even not even a solitary clue as to who this
Mm-mm.
could be.
Like I said, I couldn't even I the most I can profile from my limited knowledge of profiling is, a male that isn't local.
Yeah, I don't feel like it was a local either,
No, not at all.
Mhm.
Catholic or Christian background, right? Like, the whole demon
Or hates
aspect,
it.
Yeah.
or hates it, but at least was brought up in it or around it.
An understanding for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, because you knew, like, when St. John's Day was and stuff like that, so you
yeah.
had, like, a
Mhm.
knowledge of these things.
I don't
Or
know.
maybe you just stalked your demographic enough and started knowing
Well,
their habits.
and you do, it definitely points to somebody that is highly intelligent for sure. And so you have to wonder if he even had a motive against the Italian immigrant community specifically, or if that's yet another awesome victim because everybody hates them right now.
Right.
So just
Yeah,
like we used to have and well, I'm sure we still do have a problem of, certain victims, if a prostitute is murdered, is that as high priority as
lesser victims, they call them.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So was he also smart, in that way?
Yeah, and again, Jen, I love when you talk because you, like, make me think about other shit. So, you pointed out that he could have been, like, a part of the train, he could have been employed by the train.
Mhm.
He very well may have been an Italian immigrant himself
Mhm.
moving amongst that community,
Ah, yeah.
like, in a regular day-to-day basis when he was around with no suspicion.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Oof, again.
And then you wonder too if he started, I'm just curious if he was always like sometimes when some of these ended up being attempted murders, if he's so rushed because he is crafting an alibi for
Mhm.
himself, based on, and I don't know what that would look like for them when they would come into town. Did he get, like sailors would get shore leave? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how much
You get
time
rail
they would
leave.
have.
Yeah.
Yeah, to go out or whatever. I don't
That's
know what
true, like,
that
if
would
he was
look
doing it
like, but
right before the train rolled out, so, like, it was so
right,
close
the
that it'd be like,
timing,
"This is
yeah,
almost impossible, how could he have gotten there to there?" But, like,
because
he's controlling the train and logging the time so he could fudge a minute.
I mean, you have to wonder because he just spent so much time the first time, and some of the others were just so much more deliberate,
Mhm.
that then it's like, you always get the feeling like, did he even want to keep killing, or was he just doing it because he had set up a we
Yeah, it's
Right.
almost
really not
It
even
just
about
seems like
the
after the
kill, it's
Spanish
more about the
flu,
yeah,
control.
he kinda got, like,
yeah,
sloppier because there's a lot more, like, attempted murders and not, like, full
mhm,
job finish.
yeah,
True, so maybe he was like a germaphobe and, like, there was a fear that if they woke up and they got, like, too close to him, he'd have to just get out of there, The other thing I think about is that if he is that intelligent, there is a chance that he's like running this drill, like outside of a murder, and like, okay, I can break open a door in 10 seconds. If I can get like X amount of swings in and get upstairs, like I could get out in 15 seconds. And like
Right.
he's beholden to that timeline. That's why like the other girls didn't die.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
if they were in the other room, like he didn't walk around and take his time. Like he was he had like a stopwatch and was like 30
Yeah.
seconds in and out, gotta
Yeah.
go.
And that would explain, yeah, if it was just more about and if he in fact did write that letter, then it just shows that it was just more about the inciting of fear than maybe a body count
And that
Oh,
or
100%.
actual
100%.
murder.
Yeah.
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 So interesting nonetheless.
He
Yeah,
may
this
have
was
just
a-
also been a huge fan of jazz and just like, let's kick
Yeah.
this off. Let's get
Yeah.
this thing popular.
Yeah,
like,
let's go.
let's
Take
go.
jazz from the underground to the top ground. Let's go.
Yeah, let me use my infinity to get this jazz thing going. Like, everyone needs
He's
to
a
know about
disgruntled
jazz.
jazz player.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So we got the father and son that were arrested,
Yep.
right? But obviously, I don't think to do. Was there anyone else ever like seriously considered?
No.
Wow.
No.
Yeah.
We
Wow.
just had that one just said it was her husband.
Yeah,
Her
but then
husband,
it
right,
wasn't.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
they knew
Big
that
problem.
that
Yeah.
wasn't right. So
Yeah. He's like, bitch, I got attacked too.
Yeah, just a really, really, really lucky or very smart person.
Yeah.
It's-
yeah, I think a
Um,
little bit of both in this
Mhm.
case.
Yeah.
I really do.
If you have any theories that we didn't discuss and you would like to share them with us, please let us know down in the comments, or you could email us at
SSOSpodcast@gmail.com.
That's my email dance. Other than that, guys, thanks as always for joining us. We appreciate you guys so much. We have one more, maybe two more Axe Files. Look at Jeremy's face. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It's a crunch time because after February, we have March Madman Madness, and we are
Oh,
pushing
yeah.
Jeremy's editing skills.
Yeah.
2 episodes released each week, a two-parter on one crazy madman or genius pushed to the brink of madness.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I feel like fucking Jeremy at the end of this, he's going to be a madman himself with all the
Right.
editing.
You might.
Yeah,
That's how
I
it
got
is.
Madman hunting you guys down at the end of this. That's why I gave Lee a look when he was like, maybe we got 2 axe murders. I'm like, wait a second. I'm about to edit 2 episodes a week already.
I gotta learn how to do something so I can help you out.
Do something.
All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. Like I said, we appreciate you. Stay curious. Stay strange. Bye.
Bye.
Peace.
Thank you for listening. If you would like to join us as a guest, suggest a topic, or have a story you want us to share, we'd love to hear from you. Email us at ssospodcast@gmail.com. For more behind-the-scenes updates and exclusive insights about SSOS, make sure to follow us on social media. And don't miss out on the fun. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Again, thank you for listening to the Secret Society of Strangers podcast. This show is an independent production, researched and crafted by our passionate team. But we couldn't do it without all of you. We truly appreciate your support. Embrace the unknown, for not all secrets are meant to be kept. Farewell, strangers.